Hello, welcome back to my channel. My goodness, today has been a flurry of excitement here at the house. Well, long story short, I've been working on mentally preparing to tackle my garden that's going to be right next to the patio. So basically this whole area here, all the way down to the bottom of the stairs, is going to be a garden. And I've taken to calling it the purple garden because I'm planning on having it be purple flowers. What a name, I know. So if you have been following along with my gardening thus far, you know that most of the time I don't lean towards purple, more of the pink yellow hues of corally-ness. Most of my plantings for plantings, it lean that way. However, this garden is going to be different because, well, as I've said in the past, in my, look at that patio. Oh my goodness, I'm so in love. I'm planning on having a pergola, and on that pergola I'm planning on having wisteria, which is purple, hanging down in beautiful ways. And so I had kind of that picture of the purpleness, and then I also had this picture in my head of there's going to be a walkway so you can get out of the patio and into this garden area eventually. So there's going to be rocks coming out in a pathway, and I had kind of this picture of the rocks going down the middle of the pathway and then lavender on both sides as like a little path border thing of lavender, which I felt like would be really, really beautiful. So because of that purpleness and the purpleness of the wisteria, I was like, you know what, I think I should make this a purple garden. And then that gives me the opportunity to use different purple flowers that probably wouldn't go so well in other parts of my garden. So I thought that was a great idea. And I'm going to tell you more about that and how things that I have planned, and I need to remember to tell you about some mind changes. Moral of the story is I would have a whole bunch of things to say, but I don't have time to say them right now because, like I said, I've got chips coming. I'm not sure exactly when, but I left work early so that I could move that pile of stuff somewhere, not sure where, need to figure that out, so that he can back up, and then I'm thinking dump the chips right there. I don't want to put them directly onto where that's going to be because I want to amend the soil more and put down cardboard and stuff. And I called him and he was just like, yeah, I'll bring him today. And I was like, okay, let me get ready. So I just want to get that moved. I have so much more to tell you guys about. I'm probably going to forget it, but I'll do my best. Oh my goodness, I think it's the deer flies that are out right now, and they are just miserable. Miserable, miserable, miserable. However, I will say, just as a fun side note, I think that since I filled in that really boggy place in the woods that was always like standing water, I think that there has been a much noticeable decrease of annoying bugs around here, and I love, love, love that. So, yay. My thought here is I was just trying to get as little sand as possible. There's sand left over because that was piled here, and now the stone dust. And I was trying to not get sand in my stone dust pile. I just put that in a pile on a tarp over there in the abyss of grossness. And I'm just going to try to kind of smooth this over a little bit. I don't love all the sand that's everywhere, but I don't know what else to do about it. So I'm just going to try to make this kind of be like a driveway again as much as I can. And I'm not really sure, the driveway actually ends like here, and I don't know if eventually it will look like that again or not, but at this point we're just gonna do our best. I'm gonna start parking my car up here again, which will be exciting. My hope is that I'll get these chips further back, like put them here, so it's not actually in the driveway this time. And maybe we can start to, you know, make our way back into driveway mode here. So, guys, after much research and deliberation, as you are realizing, I have decided to get arborist chips for mulch for back here. So I researched like getting other bulk mulch, like that kind of mulch that's on my other gardens, or getting in bags. It actually, when I did the research, I called a bunch of places. It was not much cheaper, if even any cheaper, to get it in bulk than in bags, which for one is ridiculous. Like, why? But anyway, I mean, and in a way it's more convenient to get a bulk because you can just drop it and then not have to open up 8 million bags. But also in a way it's less convenient because you have to either have it delivered to you or get your poor father, who is always busy, to go and help me get mulch. So that's not actually great, which was one big downside. And also I was calculating just the mulch for this one garden. And keep in mind that, oh my gosh, these bugs. Basically everywhere back there is gonna be a garden eventually that I'm gonna need mulched in one way or the other. Just the one garden, I was calculating like hundreds of dollars for the mulch. And I was like, this is just crazy. Think about the plants that I could buy that are actually plants. You know, for that money. And I just would rather not waste that money on wood chips. Like, that's crazy. So I did a lot of research. I think that the arborist chips are a good way to go, health-wise, for the plants and whatnot. But my biggest concern about it was just that it wasn't going to look as pretty. And basically I decided to get over that. And I think it'll look fine. Eventually, I'm hoping that my plants will be thick enough so that they're, you know, I like a pretty full garden. So in theory, you won't see the mulch very much. But also, if I really hated the look of it, I could always try like top dressing it, you know, like I do normally with mulch. But it wouldn't be as much because it wouldn't have to be so thick. I'm planning on doing, from my research, I'm planning on doing 8 to 12 inches deep of the arborist chips, which is crazy. I think that's more than I would need if it was, you know, the kind of mulch that you buy from the store. And this also is for sheet mulching, so it's for smothering out whatever's there already. These bugs. So my plan is for the purple garden that I'm working on right now, and also for basically all of my gardens, is to start by quote unquote sheet mulching it. So I'll put some, you know, organic material, aka poop dirt, down, and cardboard and mulch, thick mulch, so that it's gonna smother out whatever is below it. Because there's grass there now, there's grass and weeds there now. And so hopefully this is gonna kill that. And I won't really plant the garden until maybe this fall or the early spring. I am planning on putting a few bushes in, so kind of get those established and growing so that by next year they'll be bigger and stuff. So I'll sheet mulch around those bushes, and there might be a couple perennials that I'll plant in right off. But for the most part, it's basically just going to be a garden of wood chips until next year. But that is okay. That's far better looking than it is right now. That's the nice thing about going from, you know, this. It's like anything is an improvement, even if it's just a bed of wood chips. So I'm really excited to get going on this because even just to kind of hold up this side of the patio, I know that these rocks could certainly have a tendency to fall this way over time with the sand washing out. So I want to fill that all in and make sure that there's land up against it. I also think it's gonna help, hopefully, with stopping things from growing inward weed-wise. As things start to grow up, they're disturbed right now, but as they're stopping being disturbed, more things are growing, as you can see. So I want to do my best to stop that in its tracks with a good, solid layer of mulch. Okay, so what is the plan? Because this is all going very quickly. I literally called the guy who I know who cuts down trees. I had talked to him in the past about if he did this, and he said yes. So I called him today. I knew he was really busy. He's always busy cutting stuff down. So I didn't know when he would actually be able to deliver it, but I asked him, what his schedule looked like. And he's like, well, I'm delivering a load right now. I could do yours after. And I was like, okay. So it's all going more quickly than I expected, which is a-okay with me. But basically, like I said, I actually got a couple of bushes last night. I went to, where did I go? Home Depot, and everything was 50% off. I got a rose bush. It's called Moonlight in Paris, I think. Completely not in my zone. It was probably a bad buy, but it was so pretty. So it's a zone 6 and I'm a zone 4. So it very well may die. But it was also very discounted and I can definitely enjoy it this year. But my thought is I'm going to plant it, it's on the southern side, I'm going to plant it right up next to the house. Obviously not right next to the house, but close to the house. So it's going to have a little bit more heat from there. And it is pretty well protected, I think, from the wind at the place that I'm thinking. So I'm going to try to see if I can make it live over the winter. I'll mulch it really well. And I also heard that if you put kind of like a tomato cage around it and fill it with leaves, and then I think like burlap around the tomato cage, that might help it survive through the winter. So that's worth a try. And it's in a place that you wouldn't really see it so much. You wouldn't have to be seeing something ugly with the burlap and stuff, so I'm happy about that. So I'm gonna try that just because it was so beautiful. I'll show you it later. I'm lazy right now. And then I also got a white bush that is, it's called a Moonstruck Lotus. Something about pearl. So it's got basically white pearly things that open up into flowers in the spring. So I think that'll be pretty. So those are two white-ish bushes. And then I am planning on I'm going to order them online because I haven't found any around here. But the Bloomerang double reblooming lilacs, I'm going to get the dark purple one and one that's kind of a lighter purple. So that's 4 bushes that I'm planning on putting in there. And then I kind of regretted a couple evergreen things that I did not get last night. So I might go back and get those because I'd like to have some evergreen bushes in that area as well. And as for the lavender, like I said, having it on both sides of the pathway, which I think is a really beautiful idea. But the thing about my area is you can overwinter, it's possible, but it's kind of tricky. And despite the fact that I just said I was going to do this for the rose, I really, as much as possible, want to do things that are untricky. Because when I'm getting a lot of gardens going, the more stuff going on, the more I want the stuff that's going on to be it just does it on its own. So despite the fact that I'm literally just completely countering what I just said, I want to keep things as low maintenance as possible. And so therefore, I was looking things up. I found Russian sage, and I think that I'm going to do a variety of Russian sage instead of the lilacs. Lavender, I keep saying that. They're deer flies. They're terrible and they hurt. So I'm going to do a smaller form of Russian sage is my plan as of now, instead of the lavender, because I think that will, it'll be easier to grow for my zone. And then also it's going to bloom for a lot longer, but still with a really similar benefits. Like it smells good from what I hear. And to me, from a distance, I mean, they look exactly the same, to me at least. So that's my plan, just to make things a little bit easier. And I may, if I can find some, I might plant those right off also. So I'll do the bushes and then possibly that lavender, not lavender, but Russian sage. So that's my tentative plan for the purple garden. I might go even tonight and look at a few other places. I just want to go to all of the local places, see what they have, what's on sale, being so late in the season. And I just want to see what's available locally before I buy things online. But I have my order ready to go of all of my all of my different bushes and stuff. So I think I'm gonna go to a few places tonight and then maybe again a few places tomorrow, all of the local towns around me that have stores or greenhouses, see what's available, buy the rest online, and get this purple garden going. So I'm very excited to see what the chips look like. I've done a lot of research on it. I know generally what they're gonna look like, and I know they're gonna be more likely to have bigger pieces and maybe some yucky stuff in there, you know, twigs and pine needles and stuff like that. Not that that's yucky, but it's not what you think of as mulch for sure. But I think this will be a really good experiment for me, because I'm really hoping it goes well, and I'm gonna hopefully use it for all of my other new gardens as they come. I'm gonna be periodically making new gardens every year, and then also I'm planning on doing wood chips for my pathways in the forest garden. And for that, I'm planning on having Mark go through next year. When I have him do some excavating, I'm gonna have him dig trenches for where all the paths are gonna be, and then we'll fill them in with the wood chips so that they can be really deep, but still not be therefore way higher than the ground, if that makes sense. So I'll have him dig 8 or 12-inch trenches, and we'll fill those trenches in with the wood chips, and that will be our garden paths. So I'm really hoping this whole experience goes well, because I've got lots of plans for that, and it will save me thousands of dollars in mulch versus buying regular mulch from the stores. So we shall see. Okay guys, he just came and dropped off a dump trailer, and I am thrilled, because look at this stuff. Okay, yeah, it's fresh wood chips or whatever, and there's some twigs in there, but this is, it looks really nice. And it's been sitting there. It's not fresh like from a tree today. It's been sitting there for a while. So it kind of looks browner and a lot more like your typical mulch. So look at this. And then you can see my garden over here. It doesn't look that different. And I'm thrilled, because that was my main concern about it, was that it was gonna look really woodsy in a way that I wasn't going for in this garden. But she looks beautiful. And yeah, I'm thrilled, because this is what I can get, as much as I want of it. It's readily available for $20 a dump truck load that he delivers. So, I mean, what more could you honestly ask for? It's a win for me, and it's a win for him, because he's got how many trees worth, every time he cuts down a tree, it's got to go somewhere. He does more of the commercial, or if a tree's in your yard and you can't just drop it down. It's one of those tree cutter guys. So thrilled that I requested another load, because I was looking at this pile. Maybe it would be enough, I don't know. 12 inches is what I was thinking. And I was looking at this pile, how long it is and how high it is, and thinking about this area. Basically, from the house to the edge of the patio here is 28 feet. So 28 plus however much more this is, I would guess it's at least 40 feet there. And I think it's about 10 feet here. And then going 12 inches worth, that's quite a big amount of wood chips. I don't know if I'll go the full 12 inches. I mean, let's look at this. How do you even do that? Because you almost have to dig down, but I do think the wood chips will settle some, and that's probably why they say 8 to 12 inches. To some degree, they settle. So it's probably okay if it looks like it's a little bit higher than the edge of the patio right now. I bet by spring it'll be lower. So we're just gonna have to do our best, as with everything. Not sure how it's all gonna go. But nonetheless, I got 2 loads of this. So we're gonna have to find something to do with it. As you know, I have all of my gardens planned out here. So I'm thinking I could always start, this garden here is one of the ones that I think I'm gonna start first. Holy guacamole, these bugs are killing me. So basically from behind the shed here, it's gonna go all the way straight across to the driveway. There's gonna be a garden, and I think that's gonna be one of the first ones that I start, because I wanna get trees planted in that one as well this year, in theory. So that way it kind of starts that whole process that I've mentioned to you before. As crazy as it kind of seems, but to block off the view at the end of the driveway. So this is going to be kind of a hedge of some sort all the way across here, so that there's kind of that pinch point of walking in and then seeing, oh wow, this garden, versus being able to see it all from, when you pull in the driveway or from the road. I want it to be kind of a whole secret area back here. I'm extra talking with my hands today because the bugs are driving me insane. Anyway, if I have extra from this garden, I can always start that process, laying down cardboard and just kind of starting the process of mulching. Then when the time comes to plant the trees, I can do that. So I'm going to wait for my next load, and then I'm going to run into town, see what bushes I can find there. I'll show you the two I got last night. So this is the lotus moon pearl bush. That is, I like the foliage of it, and I think the flowers look really pretty in the spring. This is the beautiful rose bush that I got. I just think that it's really pretty. It's whitish. It's got pinks and yellows, which I know is not purple for the purple garden. I gave in to what I thought was so beautiful, but I think it will go well still with the purples. It's such a light pink. But I really liked how they're longer stems for flower arrangements. My knockout rose is beautiful, but the stems are very short. Okay, I'm at Runnings right now, and I'm thinking I might get this juniper sea green. Thought about getting one last night and I didn't, and then I regretted it, so I think I might get that. Everything's 50% off. And then I had been considering this one. It's small, 2 feet high, 2 to 3 feet wide, for my front garden, because I was looking at putting 3 little evergreen shrubs there, and I've been going away from arborvitae, not even considering them, but just because of deer. I know that deer like them, but I think that right in the front garden might be the only place that it might be safe, because they are kind of cute. I really like the arborvitae. I just don't think it'll work well at my house. But that's also going to depend on if I can find 3 of the same kind, because those ones are bigger. Okay, so I just got the juniper. There was only one that I could find of that arborvitae, so we'll see. Maybe I'll find another one somewhere. I have a few places I'm gonna look tomorrow and see what I can find, because I would really like to get all 3 the same, but I'm excited about this one. I regretted not getting this one last night, so I'm excited to have it in my collection. I think it's just kind of funky and fun, and it'll be nice winter interest. Hey guys, so I just went to Lowe's, and they definitely do not have as good of discounts going on right now as Home Depot did, because Home Depot, all of the shrubs were half off, and here they are not. But I did get a couple things. I got a hibiscus, and I got it, and I'm gonna do it instead of the one lilac bush. I'm gonna use it to replace the per pink boomerang lilac, for a couple of reasons. I didn't think it's pretty pinky. I'm planning on getting the dark purple bloomerang, and then also there's a pink one, like ballet something, that's a pink color. So I'm gonna have the purple and the pink, and I was gonna do the per pink, which is kind of a purpley pink, in the purple garden also, but I think in the pictures that it really looked more pink, and I honestly don't know that I need all 3. So I think I'm gonna do this one instead. It doesn't have purple flowers, but the whole like foliage of it, like it looks purplish to me. So I think that would be a nice way to have some constant purple color in the garden. And then the flowers are a big, beautiful white flower, which is really pretty. So I'm kind of excited about that. Plus, if I were to get the lilac one online, they only have the quartz available, so it's gonna be really, really baby. Whereas this one is in the 2-gallon container, so it's already a good sized plant. So that'll be nice. I'd rather have as many plants to plant in, and I'd rather plant them before I put all the mulch and everything on, just to be able to put cardboard around it and everything and not have to dig a hole after that. So that's why I'm shopping today. I'm really trying to get everything set as much as possible before I even do the garden at all. So at this point, I think the only bush for the garden that I'm not gonna have is the dark purple lilac bush that I'm planning on putting in there. Now, the other thing that I was thinking about putting in this year, right when I start, is the Russian sage. So that's part of the reason why I'm going around to all these places looking for Russian sage, but I'm looking for a specific variety because I want it to be lower. And I know a couple kinds that I would like. There was one here that I considered because it's not crazy high. It goes up to 36 inches, and it looked It looked nice and it was a similar price to what I was gonna get online, but what I'm getting online is a quart, so it's really baby, whereas these ones are nice full sizes. But I decided against it because I'm really trying to get what I actually want and what is actually best for my garden, even if it's gonna take a little bit longer for it to grow to full size. I think that that is more important to be patient. So that's the plan. I did get some hen and chicks that I can put, it was making all sorts of babies, so I could put that all up in the stone wall where I have those succulents and get those growing. I think they should come back next year. So those were cute and exciting, and they were only like $5, so I was happy about that. So I'm gonna go 1 or 2 more places in this town and see what they have. Guys, I'm so excited they have it here. This is one of the 2 kinds that I was looking at for the Russian sage, and they have just enough. I want to get 6 of them, and they smell really good. Really, really good. They're a smidge more expensive than what I was gonna get online, but I can get them right off, and also they're gonna be way bigger because this is 2 gallons, I think, and it was gonna be a quart. They're so pretty. And they literally smell so good. And I'm excited because they work really well as dried flowers also for dried arrangements, which is a big goal of mine as well. Okay, this is a productive place because when I first came here, I looked at the shrub prices and they were so expensive, like crazy expensive. And I was like, well, this is gonna be a bust. But I'm thrilled about these Russian sage is. Okay, another thing I was thinking about getting today, if I found it, was creeping thyme. Because I thought that could be a good ground cover around in the purple garden, or maybe creeping into the steps. Creeping thyme is the one that can be stepped on a little bit. I'm fairly certain, I'll double check. And creeping phlox was the one that could not. But I also don't know what the price is on these. And like I said, things can be really expensive here. They've got nice stuff though, but really expensive. So we'll see. Hey guys, so I'm back at Home Depot where I was on Monday, where I thoroughly looked over everything for quite some time. And I'm back. I made the extra half-hour trip. I'm gonna get some of these boxwoods. And actually they're even a little bit cheaper than what I remembered. They're $22.98 half off, so $11.50, is that right? I'm gonna get 2 for the back garden, but I had been thinking about the arborvitae for the front, but I'm almost tempted for this price. It don't smell too bad. I'm almost tempted to get 3 for the front garden because I want something. I want some sort of an evergreen in the front garden. I love boxwoods. They're just so beautiful to me. So I might do that. I feel like it's a pretty good price for the size that they are. Oh my gosh, guys, look what I just found. Wisteria. It is $30, so $15. And let me see if there's any more. And this might be the only one. I did not see this the other day. Oh. Okay, so I decided against the wisteria because I don't have the pergola up yet and there was only 1. So if there was 2, I might have gotten them and figured it out. But I want to make sure, because I'm hoping to get 2, and I want to make sure they're the same and everything's good. So I didn't want to just get 1. But the plan was to wait till next year anyway, so I'm waiting. Oh my gosh, if this is not ever exciting. I am so thrilled. Look at that beautiful flower. And they smell so good. Okay, I spent a lot of money, but also I feel like I got some really good deals. I'm so excited I got like literally the things that I was looking for. It's so much better going plant shopping when you specifically know what you need versus just going and finding what's pretty and then trying to find a place for it. Even though I had to go around to like a million different places, I'm very happy with what I got and the deals I got. Definitely in my experience here, Home Depot was the best place for deals. Honestly, like even that plant I got last night, had I known I was coming back here, I should have just gotten it here because it's definitely cheaper here. The original prices were lower and then everything is half off for shrubs, at least here. Shrubs and bushes. So I'm really excited for what I got. When we get home, I'll lay it out and show you guys because I feel like the initial investment of getting all of these bushes and stuff is going to be so good for the future as I've been listening to different garden design things, a lot of the people say like some of the biggest mistakes is that people don't do things big enough. And especially with that garden, the garden itself is fairly large. It's gonna be, what is it, 10 by 40 feet. So I wanna make sure that I have some good solid bushes to fill up the space so it doesn't just look just like a million different small things and more scattered like that. I'd rather have the big bushes and then repeated of the perennials. And the good thing about the perennials is a lot of them I can get from my mom. She has some purple stuff that I can get. And then even starting things from seed will be a lot cheaper. Obviously, the shrubs and bushes is gonna be where the money's at. But that's why we're taking it one garden at a time, because if you think about all the money I'm gonna have to spend on bushes and shrubs and trees, yikes. So, baby steps. As always, baby steps. Guys, I'm literally so excited about my purchases. I cannot even tell you how excited. Especially the Russian sage, because I was not at all expecting to find exactly what I was looking for with that. And it smells so good. And also I think I already said this, but I'm really excited about the dried flower situation there. And I was already thinking in my bathroom, I want to cut off a few spikes of it and put it in my one little vase there, because I absolutely love making flower arrangements. But sometimes, well, especially in the winter, but even in the summer, there are some that you just want to have and be done with it. And I think dried flower arrangements are just the best for that. I had some, like in the bathroom up on the shelf there. I used to have like an arrangement of, I don't even know, some baby's breath or something like that. And it's just so easy to have it up there. Looks beautiful, but you don't have to do anything with it, and it just lasts forever. So that is one of the things that I'm super excited about with the Russian sage. But also, I'm just pumped because this year, you know, the garden's not going to be that amazing, because I'm just going to do the bushes. I'm not going to plant anything else in there because we're going to let it smother out the weeds with the cardboard and whatnot. So to have this, which should be blooming until frost, it starts in, and actually this is the Blue Jean Baby Russian sage, which is a shorter version. It can get up to like 30 inches, but this variety is one of the earliest blooming of the Russian sages. So it starts now in July, and then it goes all the way till frost, which is a really long time for a perennial to be blooming, and us to be enjoying the beautiful purpley blue looks and smells. And this hibiscus is just gorgeous. I don't think I told you, I did get 3 of the thymes, which are all growing together, but I figured I could use that. I'm not 100% sure. In the walls, in little cracks, is what I was kind of thinking, but also I might use it as a ground cover in some of the slopier parts of the garden. We'll see how that all goes. But then I got, let's just lay these out. I'm not going to actually start the garden process because I think it's going to be a big process, but we can at least lay these out and see where everything's going to be. So 3 of the boxwoods are going to be for the front of the house, and let's see what that looks like. I can't do this all at once. Okay, so this is going to be the tricky part, because I want to put these each in the middle of a section, but we do have things growing and that I don't want to necessarily disturb, specifically over in this section, because there are some beautiful autumn joy sedums that are going to be right in the way. So I'm not sure exactly how we're going to do that, but this is kind of my thought. There are some things I want to move around in this garden because I feel like this area is very scant, whereas these areas are very full. So I was always planning on moving those in the fall, but now I have these boxwoods to plant, and I'm not sure exactly. I don't want to leave them in their container for that long either, because obviously that's not great for them. But TBD on how or when I'm going to do this. But I was also thinking I might want to extend this a smidge more, whether that's this year or next year. I just want to make sure that I have enough room before next year when I make the path all the way to the front door. I'm going to do a stone path like I did with the patio and over here. I want to make sure that there is enough room for everything to have space. I don't mind the depth of it right now, but maybe just a smidge more. These I think can grow 4 to 6 feet. so I want to make sure they have enough good room. But the nice thing with the boxwoods is I'm going to have to prune them anyway to just keep the shape, so I can always make them a little bit smaller if I need to. And I also, this fall, want to move my hydrangea bush back a little bit more because I think I planted it too close. As it gets bigger, it's just going to be all up in the driveway. So we'll figure that out when the time comes. But for now, let's take a look at what the purple garden is going to be bush-wise. Okay, so I just want to show you where I'm thinking for each of these, just to give a bit of an idea. Not exact. And I'm hoping to start working on this even this afternoon a little bit, but I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty big job, all things considered. I was thinking about edging and all of the layers. It's going to be a lot of work, but you know, figure it out with time. I think just laying this out will kind of give us an idea of placement and what it's going to look like. I wanted to say one thing. Initially, I had always said from the start that I was going to have a boxwood hedge going across here, and I decided not to do that. Reason was, I kind of want because this garden is viewed from the patio and from out there, and it's quite wide, I wanted to have kind of the tallest things in the middle, not necessarily in a straight line, but you know, in the general middle, and then have lower things, mid-size lower things on both sides, because it's big enough for that, and I wanted the view to be nice from both sides. So I felt like having the hedge kind of blocked off the view a bit from here. I liked it for the fact of having, you know, a boundary of, okay, this is where the patio ends, but I felt like it would kind of block it off, and having it with the middle trees, shrubbery, just makes it a little bit more symmetrical and just nice views from both sides. Not that the hedge would stop that, but I didn't think that it was necessary, I guess, because the garden itself will be a boundary line. And I'm kind of thinking, as much as I hate to say it, I really hate to do it, I don't want to do it, but I think that I should put stones, upward stones, all the way across, so that I'm stopping, especially on these cracks. If I have something blocking it, then it's gonna hopefully stop the weeds a little bit more from making their way into the crevices of the patio. So, sage. Okay, this is my initial thought layout. You'll have to stay tuned to see if it actually stays like this when I plant it. But I want to go through and really measure all of the spaces. So this bush, and then this bush, which is going to be the lilac that's coming, they're all bigger bushes, and those two are smaller. So I'm going to measure it all out, look back at what their mature size is and measure everything out. But I know that these two bushes are quite a bit smaller. They're like more like 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, I think. But this is kind of an idea, and it looks fantabulous. I can't tell you for the umpteenth time how excited I am about these sage. And I'm going to measure everything to see what size I want them to be. But I do like the idea of having the kind of narrow walkway going out. I'm going to do that with stones on top of the mulch is my thought. So yeah, we've got lots of work to do here. I'm a little bit nervous that it's going to be a really hard process, but I think a lot of it is going to be tractor work, getting manure, cardboard, mulch, and of course planting these plants. I'm so thrilled that I have all of these physically here. The only thing that's not here is the lilac bush. It's just gonna make things so much easier. And honestly, it's gonna look a lot fuller than I initially thought. Very, very thankful that I was able to get all of these bigger sizes of things to get it rolling. But you guys are gonna have to stay tuned for the next video to see how it all goes. Hopefully we'll get this looking like a garden, at least somewhat. And then in the fall or spring, I'm not sure, I can plant some more perennials, which will really fill in all of the spots. It's all really, really exciting. So thanks for coming plant shopping with me. It was a very, very fun and exciting day, and I cannot wait to see how this whole garden turns out very soon, coming to a video near you. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and tap the bell to stay notified with new videos so you can see how this garden turns out. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So I will see you guys next time on A Drill and a Dream. Have a wonderful day.